Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome to another Indie Game Friday. This week we're going to take a look at a story-driven brawler RPG, Anima, Gate of Memories. Developed by Anima Project and published by Badland Games, this was released on Steam on June 3rd, 2016, which is actually the day I got most of this footage. Available on Steam, its usual price seems to be $19.99. Anima is apparently based on a tabletop role-playing fantasy world called Gaia, though not having played said system, I'm not sure how well it presents the source material, either from a lore perspective or a system perspective. The basic gist of the story seems to be that some woman with no memory has been bound to bear a book which contains the spirit of some demonic messenger, one of several meant to destroy the world. With that unlikely alliance set up, they are tasked with defeating the other messengers before they can bring about the end of the world. From a gameplay perspective, the game is one of those hybrid action RPGs, though in this case it really is more about the action than the RPG. That's not saying it doesn't have a deep system behind it, because it does have a skill unlock system and inventory system that make for quite in-depth character development. Overall, though, gameplay consists of a series of arena and boss-style action sequences set on an explorable map. When you encounter a group of enemies, it is not uncommon for the area to be locked in until you defeat them all, which I guess is somewhat typical of the brawler-style combat in some of these games. The levels that I encountered are somewhat linear, but I didn't play much past the intro levels due to time constraints. I will say that the art style is kind of nice, even if it is, quite frankly, PS2-era graphics on a high-definition engine. Character design definitely veers more towards the eye candy way of things, but the animations in combat are actually pretty decent. Out of combat, they mostly strike poses in the narrated cutscenes. There are character sheets where you can review your stats, assign items to hotkeys, and weapons and artifacts to equipment slots to modify your damage and ability scores in certain areas. The majority of changes in attacks, however, seem to come from your skills rather than your equipped weapons. There is a diary and journal page where you can review quest goals, as well as catch more information about the world, if you're not familiar with the RPG it comes from. This is actually really helpful, because I, for one, was feeling very lost a short time into the main storyline. Combat is actually really responsive and fun when you get into it, with one major downside. Generally speaking, there's a mix of attacks, rush attacks, short-range area of effects, launch attacks that throw enemies into the air, distance attacks, wave attacks, dodges, and aerial versions of all of the above. Interestingly enough, a short time into the game, you unlock your second character and can switch between them during fights. The key to fights seems to be setting up strings of combos, and you can actually switch characters during a combo chain in order to boost it. It's a really neat concept, marred by that one major downside. And that downside is the camera control. My god, the camera control is squirrely. And even though you can supposedly adjust the sensitivity and such, I found it almost crippled all but the most basic of combos for me. Maybe that's just my lack of reflexes, but god damn. There's a lock-on mode, but that barely helps since it's not unusual for enemies to teleport around or hop out of range, and it cuts down your view on the other enemies around you. Furthermore, some sections simply lock the camera in place for dramatic effect, sometimes at a really awkward angle, which makes for adjusting to it in the middle of a fight difficult. I lost where my character was numerous times and ended up breaking combos as a result, or actually taking hits I shouldn't have just because a certain enemy showed up or a certain boss did. The skill system is kinda neat though. With two characters to switch between at the beginning, the Bearer of Calamity and her book-bound messenger, Ergo Mundus, you can really specialize each in a different set of attacks and skills, so that they end up being more effective during combat. From what I can see, the Bearer is probably best for ranged attacks, while Ergo is your close-range bruiser. Unlocking a skill will boost the ability present on the line between it and your last skill in the tree, and some skills can have multiple points put into them. You get points each time you level up, but you won't level up until after you're done with the tutorial. All in all, it's a very acceptable system and allows for some customization, especially when spread between both characters. If you like vaguely anime-inspired eye-candy graphics on a brawler with a deep story and an RPG character development background, then this game should fit the bill just fine. My main problem is the damn camera, which is now my absolute bane. I won't say whether that ruined the game entirely for me or not until I've played it further on my own time, but it is something to be aware of, along with a few other glitches and annoyances that some have pointed out, but that didn't really bother me much at all. I'll put the link in the description below, of course, so you can check it out if you want to. For now, this has been the RPG Crawler with Indie Game Friday, Anima, Gate of Memories. If you like what you've seen, remember to like, comment if you have feedback, and subscribe for more RPG content. Until next time, take care and goodbye.